41 brutal truths I wish I would have known before I started to grow my own food. Today's the first day of summer, and after reflecting on 61 years on this planet, here's 41 hard-won truths about the garden I wish somebody would have told me. And after making it through the wettest spring in history, if I could go back and talk to my 20-year-old self before I started to try to grow my own food, here's what I'd tell me. You also want to have fun. This is supposed to be joyful. We're growing our own food. I used to take it far more seriously. And if we lost something, if we had a worm get into a leaf, I was devastated. But you know what? That's one solid, fine head of cabbage. And I'm gonna have some coleslaw tonight. Change the way you see things. You know, I used to look at weeds and leaves as the enemy or just rubbish. They're actual tools for your compost. Learn nature's language. Sometimes what we think is common sense just doesn't make any sense. Now, your garden is a reflection of you. When I first started as a young man, I tried to make it look like something I'm not. I'm never picture perfect. And if it's a little wild, a little chaotic, it's just a reflection on me. You'll never be done in the garden. You know, when I was a kid, I used to say, are we done yet? There's always something more to do. Right here, oh. You know what I found out? All of these worms are invasive. North America didn't have worms, but they sure like the mulch, and they sure put in really good castings. So yeah, we're never gonna be done planting or picking, whether it's in the middle of the winter or using a cold frame. You just keep at it. After all, we're doing this to produce food. We plan, God laughs. I used to spend all winter drawing out the perfect garden plan, the plot where we're gonna plant everything. And even today, I have an idea where I'm gonna put things. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't work out. And then you get a volunteer watermelon off the side of the walkway. Like I said, you plan, God laughs. And on this first day of summer, I can tell you, you don't want to quit in July. These beans, they're going to be just making real good come July. These grapes, they're going to be ripening up really nice in July. Your bounty comes a little later. Don't give up. And sometimes you got to take time and just sit in the garden. I used to work way harder than I had to. You need to enjoy the garden. It does give you more than food. It's food for the soul. So keep a handy chair out in the garden in a shady spot, and when you're picking your cabbages, come out here and enjoy the life. Good enough is great. Your vegetables don't have to be picture perfect. They're going to taste just as good, if not better. Our goal is to aim for food, not a photo. And by all means, grow what you like to eat. If you waste time on trendy things that are just going to go to waste, you've just wasted the season. Our entire goal is to produce food that we want to eat. I also know the neighbors see more than they let on. I used to try to tell people about the deep mulch, but you know what? They saw the results, and now they're using it. Soil first and always. You know, I used to focus on feeding the plants and nothing else, but when you have healthy soil, you have healthy plants. Let the compost, let the mulch, let the worms do their work. You don't need to put in much help. The thing about compost is going to happen whether you mess it up or not. I used to obsess about the ratio of green and brown. Obviously, the bucket got dumped out here. It's going to break down. It's going to make compost. It's going to feed the life in the soil. So don't stress over your compost too much. Mulch doesn't have to be perfect. I used to try to source all different kinds. I was unable to, whether I'm using straw or hay or leaves or shavings or wood chips. And by mixing them all together, the diversity of life that we're feeding is amazing. The first year you're going to use mulch, it's not going to be your best year. It's still going to be a pretty good year. But I struggled before I knew what I was doing. They said plant in the mulch. He didn't say plant in the ground under the mulch. Well, you plant in the ground under the mulch. You just move that mulch aside and you plant like normal. And build a system and let it work for you. I used to take and clear out the entire garden every year, till it all up. Now, we've got the deep mulch and we plant year after year. We let that life help us. We let everything reseed, and as it wants to sprawl, I'm very happy. I also thought mulch meant no problems, but actually mulch just buys you time. It does suppress most weeds, but it allows you to learn. Curly dock, Bermuda grass, they tend to laugh at the mulch, but that's only 2 weeds out of everything that you can fight. So it does give you time. I never said I didn't weed, I just said I didn't like to weed. And I'm really glad we found the deep mulch. Spacing doesn't matter as much as we've been led to believe. I'm not an engineer. I'm not going to come out here and grid square this off. Used to try, but if you look at nature, it doesn't grid square off anything, where those seeds land or where they grow. Perfection can also be the enemy of a successful garden. I don't know how many times I waited till it was just right, and then I missed my opportunity. Once I planted, then the season was too short. So go ahead and start scrappy. Our whole goal is to grow food, not to have a pretty garden. And by growing food, ultimately your garden will be pretty. You know, you don't have to start on an acreage. Start with 1 bed, 1 row, 1 container. Get your feet underneath you. That first time I bit off way more than I could chew. Your ambitions will grow as fast as your garden does. Just a couple seeds in the ground, and we're gardening. And by all means, don't buy any fertilizer. If you want big green leaves, put down a bunch of nitrogen. If you want plants that produce great tasting food with no chemicals, put down the deep mulch. Mix it together, spread it out, plant in it. And if you have to buy a tool, get something that's not going to bend, something that's got some life to it. Raised beds are a wonderful idea. And as I get a little older, and I bend over all the time, I can see the value in the raised bed. We'll probably add some. But don't shy away. They're sitting on the soil, so it's still full soil contact, and we can still deep mulch. We still add mulch to this. I mean, we got leaves in here right now. Label everything early and often. You know, I thought I could remember where I planted what, but with critter damage, bug damage, and my old memory, sometimes I lose track of it. Actually, I've come up with a new theory. If I don't label anything, then I'm not disappointed if it doesn't come up. Rain will show you your mistakes. I used to try to fill those low spots with soil. I was never successful. Use it as a learning tool. Some plants like it wet, some plants don't. Back to learning the microclimate. Plant what is appropriate in the small area in the larger garden. Every soil has a microclimate. You can't treat every corner of your garden the same. We had water running through here yesterday. We've got areas that I'm going to need to water tomorrow. Not every bed needs to be productive. I used to measure a garden by the pound, but some plants actually feed the soil. Some plants feed the pollinators. Some plants just feed your soul. Beauty and function should share a world. I used to think this was impractical. What, you couldn't eat this? Well, but you can. And the pollinators like it. And it's pretty to look at. So plant as many flowers as you want to plant. Now, if you just wanted to start a garden and you've heard horror stories about back-breaking work, or if you've been in a garden and you know about back-breaking work, what I found is by adding the mulch, my back doesn't break anymore. There's still a little work, but the hardest work you're ever going to do in this kind of garden is harvest. You know, by using mulch, the hardest work you have to do in a garden is harvest. And before I found mulch, weeding and watering used to sap all of my energy. And I was a lot younger then. But by putting a thick layer of mulch down, you suppress a good majority of those weeds. And with sweet potatoes, they'll go ahead and root and make tubers right in that mulch, which will also help make the hardest work I have to do out here is harvest. You can't outpace the seasons. Don't rush the planting by the calendar. Use the conditions. Always look at your first and last frost date. And by all means, don't rush the soil. Even this year, I brought some seeds out. Temperature wasn't quite right. This is the second time I've had to replant this cucumber, but it is warm enough now. Sweet potatoes are another one, and that's why I wait. But I still got anxious, just like I do every year. Observation is a tool. Sometimes I jump right in the middle of it before I understand what's going on. Take and observe. Use the lessons that you've learned already. Go at it slow. Go at it methodical. Don't fight the weather. I used to blame the weather on all my ills. Learn from it. Adjust to your climate. Sometimes it feels like your favorite food doesn't like you. Don't take it personal. Every year's just a little different. Some years you get a lot of tomatoes, some years not so many tomatoes. It's all based on the climate. You have no control over that. And plant more perennials. This pepper is a perennial. Out here in Zone 7, it can't really take the winter, but it can overwinter. So we will dig this up and we'll bring it in the house, and then we'll bring it back out here next spring. We're gonna let that grow, give us some hot peppers. Your garden is a living journal. I used to forget every year what I did the year before, but by sharing it with everybody, I'm able to document, and I know that the little champagne blueberries are just now coming ripe, where the blue blueberries were already eaten. Without remembering it, without documenting it, without sharing it with others, you're going to lose that knowledge. Oh, there's nothing like coming right out and eating blueberries right off the bush. Gardening is a partnership. It's not a battle. You come out here and you work with what you have, you work with nature, you're going to have a bountiful harvest. I used to fight it every year. It used to win every year. Now, I enjoy gardening. The best time to plant a fruit tree, 20 years ago. But you know what? You ain't gonna get any fruit unless you plant it. Second best time to plant a fruit tree, today. And some weeds will teach you. What these weeds are telling me is I don't have enough mulch right here. Before I started using the deep mulch, all weeds would teach me is I hated the garden. I never said I didn't weed. I just said I didn't like to weed. And it's amazing the total amount of harvest you can get out of a deep mulch garden. For years, the traditional gardening, I'd get some stuff, but I had no idea what you could get with one season of a deep mulch garden. You pull that mulch back, get a big handful, and you smell that earth. That's better than any test you can buy. That soil is just full of life, and it is ready to produce. I do have a PDF with every one of these points on it. Send me an email, and I'll send that to you for free. If you want an in-depth reason how all the deep mulch works and about the life in the soil, I have written a book, and you wouldn't hurt my feelings if you picked up a copy. It's going to be cheaper than the first bag of fertilizer you don't buy. And on this first day of summer, I told you the corn would stand back up. You can do this too. My hope for you is that your mulch stays thick and your garden produces well. Until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you.